Waterloo! Don't really have an intro. That's okay. Let's just get on to the beer because this is a beer that I haven't had before. And a brewery I don't think I've had before either. Interesting. Let's get into this, guys. Beer, 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 beer. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to me, Mate Brewski, from the Rooski Brewski Review. And today the beer I have for you is by the Waterloo Brewing Company out in Kitchener, Ontario. This is their IPA green can. Hog on the head. Not on the head. Hog on the top of the can. Coming in at 5.2% alcohol by volume. And an unlisted IBU not here on the can. Big green can though, holy hell. Thankfully, on the website, it's showing it coming in at 32 IBUs. So, as far as IPAs go, pretty low. Even in the alcohol department, from what I'm used to at least. So let's crack this open, see what we got, see how it compares to other IPAs that I've had. Or maybe it's more reminiscent of, say, a pale ale. Pouring it into my Collective Arts IPA glass. Because IPA for IPA glass, you know what? Sometimes I do care about glassware. Because you know what? Glassware sometimes makes or breaks a beer. Don't hate on me for not having all the same glassware for every kind of beer, because today I have it. Looking at the beer, it's definitely a darker color IPA. I would assume more of a West Coasty IPA, because those are usually a bit more darker, a bit more amber in color. But this one is fairly clear, nice, slightly off-white head on top. Let's have a smell. Definitely way more malty right off the bat. Toffee, caramel. Bready, slightly nutty. Yeah. You're not really getting many, like much of the pine or the grapefruit or the citrusy hop aromas that you would get from other IPAs. So I'm quite interested to see how this tastes. Let's do that right now. Okay, there's the pine and the grapefruit, which actually come in very late on the sip. They're not in the beginning. In the beginning, you're getting caramel, toffee, slight nuttiness almost, and then moving into that piney, grapefruity sort of bit of hoppiness, hoppy bitterness, but still with a nice malt backbone. So yeah, I would say this is closer to a West Coast style IPA. At least because West Coast usually have that more malt heavy backbone. But this is I would say it's like a 65 35 split between malty being the 65 and hoppy being the 35 split. Maybe a 60-40 split, but definitely way more malt forward than hoppy bitterness. It's not bad. It's something interesting, something different. So cheers, everybody. Let's keep on drinking. It's crisp, nice and slightly clean, medium body, definitely a heavier IPA style. I kind of like that nuttiness. It's a little funky when it mixes in with the pine and hops and grapefruitiness flavor of it. But it's not bad. I've had a lot worse. It's different. And I'm not the biggest fan of West Coast IPAs mixing the malts and hops to a degree where you can get a very distinct taste in both. It kind of just throws me a little off because you're getting something very sweet and almost like desserty sweet or bakery sweet. And then mixing it in with something that's could be either florally or slightly citrusy. And for me, it's like the sweet and sour sauce. It's weird. It weirds me out. Or when you have sweet and salted, salted caramel chocolates or something like that. It weirds me out because those are two opposite flavors. And for me, they when they come together, it weirds me out a little bit. Even with this beer, I'm getting that same feeling of like two opposite flavors coming together and sort of clashing. This does work quite well, but it's, for my personal palate, it's still really weird. And maybe some people are like that. Overall, I don't mind a little bit of sweet, a little bit of bitterness coming out together. It's just, it's different. It's not bad though, not bad at all. Moving over to the can, Waterloo IPA, 5.2% ABV, like I said, 32 IBUs as well. Ontario's first craft brewer, premium beer. On the back, we do have a description, and it reads, since its first appearance on our award-winning dark lager, the mysterious wild boar has represented the stubborn pride we take in brewing our beer. Homegrown, handcrafted, and without compromise. Pour the boar. Okay, guess that's not really a description of the actual beer, but more of just the logo of Waterloo Brewing Company. Okay, well, we'll run with that. Made with 4 simple ingredients, those being not listed. Those being not listed. But thank you for telling me that it's 4 simple ingredients. I'm going to guess water, malt, hops, and yeast. Hopefully I'm correct, because that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, I'm kind of confused now. Why are you putting made with 4 simple ingredients and then not listing the ingredients? You know what I'm saying? Okay. Return for refund where applicable, blah, 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 blah. Waterloo Brewing Limited, or LTD, sorry, Kitchener, Ontario, and they have a little phone number, 1-800. Very, very nice, I guess. On the bottom for brewed on date, there is something here. It reads L0182. Okay. Cool. So, there's a time code. I can't really decipher it. L would be 12th letter, so December something, 2018, 82? I don't know. Kind of bummed about the presentation on here. First of all, the description is mainly just about the boar, their little logo. Made with 4 simple ingredients. They don't even list it. It's a green can for a beer that has nothing to do with green, but okay. Yeah, and okay. Okay then, Waterloo. I don't mind the beer. It's nice. Not my kind of flavors, or at least flavors put together. But the presentation is just kind of on the can side and on the information side. Really, that's where I'm getting a really big gripe, because you're teasing. You're teasing as all hell. Basically, you have a description that's only about the logo, and you have 4 simple ingredients, and most people who drink craft beer probably know what the ingredients are going to be. But just don't list 4 simple ingredients and not tell us what the ingredients are. And the date code is there, but for people that don't know how to read a date code properly, or a variation of a date code, they're gonna have no idea what the hell it means. I see L-O, like L0182. Right? L0182. Yeah, L0182. I have no idea what the hell that means, but okay, cool. Maybe the website, which is waterloobrewing.com, has a little bit more information. So far, it has the ABV and IBU, being again 32. IBU is not percent. Holy hell, that'd be crazy. But it does have a description, and the description reads, ours is a distinctively Canadian IPA that combines the citrus and floral hop aromas of American IPAs with the sweetness, body, and finish of our British-style India Pale Ales, flavoring a good hoppy flavor over bitterness. It delivers the body you'd expect from an India Pale Ale without making a spectacle of itself. Pour this boar down the side of your glass to avoid too creamy a head. A finger width is bang on. Now, okay, yes, I understand that. Good, description, but misleading. Citrus and floral hops of American IPAs with the sweetness, body, and finish of a British-style India Pale Ale, favoring a good hoppy flavor over bitterness. That's where I'm getting a little confused. Is because you're making it sound like it's more hoppy and sweetness is one thing. You can have tropical sweetness in some IPAs. You can have what this is more of a malty sweetness like caramel and toffee. So in a sense, the description for me at least is a little misleading. Because if I just read this and didn't drink the beer at first, I'd think, okay, it's more hoppy, it's citrusy, more sharp flavors. Whereas in reality, this is more what I call blunt flavors, more of that sweet caramel. Caramel for me is a blunt flavor, while pine and grapefruit are sharp flavors. So, a little weird of a description, but okay, I'll run with it. Scrolling down though, we do have food pairings. Emphasizing hop flavors and aroma over bitterness, Waterloo IPA is perfectly paired with foods that have a bit of a spicy kick. The hoppiness goes nicely with Thai or Indian dishes, especially those with sweet and sour or peanut sauces and fresh cilantro. Order the pad Thai or a good curry and you're off to the races. So they recommend pad Thai, lettuce wraps, and that's it. And they have sort of a detailed description of what lettuce wraps and pad Thai is. So that's cool. I really do appreciate the food pairings. Not everybody does it, and I always love to see what I can pair my beer with the food side of things. If I'm making something, which I rarely do, or if I go out to a restaurant, I'd like to see what kind of things I can put together and enjoy on a night or a lunch or what have you. Overall, not a bad beer. Not a bad beer at all. Just confusing descriptions and not non-descriptions and stuff and things. Weird, but okay. At the LCBO, you can pick up the Waterloo IPA for $2.50 for a 473 tallboy can such as this. And finally, moving over to Untapped after this, another sip. The Waterloo IPA is coming in at a 3.18 bottle caps out of 5, and that's out of just over 8,200 ratings. As for me, it's a good beer. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just not my flavor. You know, the sweet malt is very 60-40, 65-35 split between this and the actual hoppy bitterness of it. 32 IBUs makes sense, 5.2% makes sense. It's just not my flavor. And to be honest, the description of the beer really is misleading. And I'm going to really take that into account of just how the beer actually is. Because that's where a lot of my disappointment is coming from. Is the sort of the misleading or the lack of description, shall I say, of the actual beer itself. Both on can and on website. But with that said, cheers on the final sip. Let's get right to ratings. Overall, like I said, not a bad beer. Not my kind of flavor. But 6.5 seems to be where I want to put it at. It's a little bit of a weird beer, in my opinion. But you know, it's not the worst thing in the world by far. And I think a lot of people might actually like this. It's not super hoppy in your face. It's got a decent balance of malt and hoppy bitterness. It's just a little weird for me. But overall, 6.5, not a bad rating. Don't discredit this beer. Go pick it up, see for yourself. That's just my rating for my personal palate. As for presentation, yeah, presentation is pretty crappy. You know, very nice looking can, no problem about that. It's the description of the beer, or lack of description, especially on the can. This is literally all about this Boar. To be honest, I really don't think people are picking up Waterloo beer really give a damn about where the boars originated from. Maybe you can throw that in there somewhere, but they're picking up the beer to learn about the beer and what you guys are saying about the beer. That's the point of a description. Not for a logo, for the beer. And brewed on date? Can't read it. I don't understand this kind of date code. Maybe you guys do, but for the average consumer, probably not. So, bummer there. And also, third thing, made with 4 simple ingredients. I know the ingredients: water, malt, hops, and yeast. But maybe not everybody knows that. So made with 4 simple ingredients. If you don't know, you could be just guessing water and other stuff. But you're not sure. Throw that on there. If you're going to mention 4 simple ingredients, take pride in those ingredients and throw them on here, even if they seem redundant. As for the website looks really nice. Can't deny that. But the description of the beer itself is a little misleading. It's quite misleading. Citrus and floral hop aromas. I got a lot more maltiness out of the beer. Sweetness. There could be tropical sweetness. There could be the caramelly sweetness. There could be dark chocolate sweetness. Again, misleading. Say maltiness. Caramel mixes with light florally and citrus aroma or flavors, and combining into a great, easy drinking IPA. Something along those lines. I'm not going to be your marketing team. I'm not the marketing team, but I'm just saying, a little bit more descriptive. Descriptive words make more informed consumers. More informed consumers means happier people. I don't know. That's just how my mind is playing it out right now. I'm not trying to give you a ton of shit. It's just from what I read and from what I'm drinking are slightly different things. Something to note. But the food pairings portion, I love that, and I love how you list sort of the ingredients of the food dishes you recommend to pair with this beer. I love that. Most people just put what kind of dishes, but you go a little above and beyond that even, and list the ingredients for the dish. Maybe not a recipe, but at least the ingredients. So very, very nice to see. Presentation for me gets a 6 out of 10. That's where I'm going to leave it. Well, guys, before I leave you, if you have any questions, comments, or beers you want me to review in the future, leave all that information down in the comment box below. If you want to go ahead and like this video or subscribe to me, Mate Brewski, then greatly appreciate it as well. And with all that said, that's going to do it for me, Mate Brewski. Like I always say, crack and enjoy. Cheers. Have you had wild boar? Because I haven't, and I'm singing about boars cause it's the logo, and they made a point to point out the logo while I pour the beer. So I'm gonna pour this boar and drink it down into my tummy. Cheers!